Now, I feel pretty comfortable with geography quizzes, but I'm not so sure about this one. It is going to be my job to guess which country is richer, at least in terms of GDP in US dollars. And already, question number one, I'm a little bit worried about this one. Geographically speaking, Pakistan is a lot bigger than Macau. Macau is kind of like a little city-state right here next to Hong Kong. It's actually even smaller than Hong Kong. One thing I do like about this test is I can bring up maps and it's not going to affect the answers at all. I mean, I already know what these countries look like in my mind, but it really doesn't necessarily give us the answer which country is richer. Macau probably pulls in bank, but there's no way. I mean, Pakistan has a lot of people. It's not the richest in the world. I know that they're struggling economically. I have to go Pakistan, but I don't know. Okay, good. Okay, we are very safe with that one. I'm going to assume that the country of Pakistan is also going to be making more than the African nation of Angola. Angola is definitely struggling as well. So this is actually one of the first times where I can't just like pick the African nation. Usually we're doing something with borders or geography, land area. So normally the continent of Africa is like your go-to. That was kind of my rule of thumb in the past, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time. I'm going to assume that the European nation, though very small, of Slovenia has to be beating out Angola. No, it is not. Oof. I got 2 right so far. That's usually how this goes though. Very first couple times I play this game, I do horrible. It's got to be India. It's got to be India. Wow, India's making some money, and this nation not so much. Israel is very rich, but man, this is a huge number. I don't know what I would have picked if I didn't know India's number already, but probably I might have picked Israel. I don't know. Now, Israel or Belgium? Belgium, not a whole lot of population, but it's smack dab in Europe. It is also the headquarters of both the European Union and NATO. This is actually really tough. I think, you know, geographically speaking, Belgium is bigger. Doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot here. I might go Israel, and no, it was actually Belgium. Okay, so once again, high score is 2. That's fine. That's fine. I have to play through this a couple times to really get it. It's got to be China. That seems pretty simple enough. Yep, geez, 17 million. So it's automatically going to be China no matter who else pops up, more than likely. Now, I think I know the list off the top of my head who is like the top richest countries. It's the US, China, Japan, and then maybe it's like Germany or someone in 4th. I can't look it up, obviously. Israel's definitely more than Mozambique. We just saw that. I'm going to assume it's more than the Cayman Islands as well. Cayman Islands, yeah, not making that much. I don't think I've ever looked up a lot of this information before in terms of richest countries in the world. I've always been curious about Panama, though. They obviously have the infamous canal, so I'm assuming they've got to be making some bank. I'm going Panama because Cayman Islands here is really just not that much. Wow, they really are kind of low here. So we are at an all-time high. I'm guessing Panama's probably more than Samoa. Wow, Samoa is very low. It's got to be Uzbekistan, right? I mean, I don't know how much Uzbekistan is making, but I knew it's going to be more than $788. Somalia could make money. They do have pirates. I mean, I don't know if they still do, but based off the pirates alone, they got to be pulling in more than the other nation. That's an entire like industry that's going on. I mean, okay, never mind. Maybe not. All right, that makes more sense in my head. We got 7. Ooh, Laos cannot be making that much. They have a good amount of people. Sri Lanka is obviously the island off of the coast of India. This is really close, both in Asia. I'm going to say Sri Lanka just because Laos is landlocked, so that has to affect them economically. Yes, okay, it seems like a pretty big economic hindrance. We just saw Uzbekistan. It was like in the 60s. It was like 67,000, right? Okay, we got it. Australia's got to be making some bank over there. There we go. 1.5 million. It's definitely Australia because Belgium is, yeah, barely over 500,000. I'm going to assume Belgium's got to be making more than Romania. I don't know how much Dracula's making over here. Oh, that's such a low-hanging fruit of a joke. I have to assume. It's got to be Belgium. Okay, and there, okay, at least I got it right, even though I made a horrible, cheesy joke. Romania's, I'm thinking, making more than Burundi. Bahrain's got to be making some bank. Maybe not that much, though. Only 38,000. I thought it'd be significantly more. Still sticking with Bahrain over St. Lucia. Okay, St. Lucia is not making that much, but I don't know how much Botswana is. Please, okay, thank you. I was very nervous about that one. Lesotho is trapped inside of South Africa. I can't imagine they're making that much. Okay, thank you. We've made it into the double digits. Ukraine's dealing with a lot right now, but they are making more money than Lesotho. I'm still picking Ukraine over Albania. They're under 20,000. Albania is. The 2A nations. This one is difficult because I don't think Afghanistan's, rolling in the dough, but also clearly Albania isn't either. I'm gonna just pick Afghanistan purely based off size, but I don't know. What do those 20 years of occupations do? I mean, they've got to have a couple of McDonald's, right? right? Maybe? They do, but not over $18,000 worth of McDonald's. All right, well, we got 12. Usually in these games, I can get over 30. It's got to be Pakistan. Usually I can get over 30 in a row. Let's see if I can get there. Japan. I think it's the third richest. We're going to pick Japan for the next one too, almost no matter what, but let's keep in mind these numbers. So this game's kind of a memorization game in a way. Lithuania over the Solomon Islands. I mean, the islands, they have a tough time. It's hard to make money on islands. I'm gonna go with that philosophy. Wow. Kyrgyzstan not making too much more, even though they are known as Xbox land to me. They kind of have an Xbox symbol on their flag. I'm going Australia over Turkey. Oh, but Turkey's almost at 1 million. I'm going Turkey over Sierra Leone, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. These islands tend to be pulling in like 1,000, so I'm just going to assume it can't be this, right? It can't. I don't know for sure though. Going Sierra Leone under 4. Wow, okay, that was the gut feeling and it worked out. It paid off. Seychelles, also an island. That is a really low number, Grenada. I'm sorry, 1,000. I'm gonna pick Seychelles, but it is, wow, just barely. I should have known it was gonna be barely. Sri Lanka's a nice safe choice, 84,000. Thank you. Italy. Come on, Italy. I know people like to dunk on you, Italy, but you making some bank. They're actually more than Australia. It's got to be more here too. Italy's at 2 million. Guatemala or Palestine? Oh my goodness. Guatemala's out here bordering 4 different nations: Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. They also have both a coastline on the Atlantic side and the Pacific. Palestine's at a good 18,000 though. This is really difficult. My gut is telling me Guatemala because it's just bigger. I'm always gonna defer to my geography knowledge. I think it's bigger. Okay, it's making some good money. I think it's actually a lot bigger. I'm going Guatemala over Zambia. Yes, okay. Zambia is pretty big in Africa too, but it's landlocked. I really don't know if a coastline makes it a difference, but I'm assuming that, if you have harbors and ports, probably making a little bit more money. So on one side, we have the long nation of Togo right here by the Gulf of Guinea, and on the other, we have Zambia, which is big, but it is landlocked. We know the number for Zambia, which is 21,000. Togo's just not that big of a nation. And I don't know, I mean, can they fit that much population? They're somewhat next to Nigeria. Nigeria has a lot of population. I'm going Zambia. That's what my gut is telling me. Okay, very nice. Bahrain wasn't making as much as I thought, but it's definitely more than Togo. Okay, Russia. Russia has, I think, a similar sized economy to Spain, apparently. I don't know for sure what metric they're measuring that on. Russia's gonna be beating out Burkina Faso, that's for sure. Gabon or Burkina Faso? The African nations are going to trip me up for sure. Gabon is not super big as they're smashed in between Cameroon, the Republic of Congo, and Equatorial Guinea. But Burkina Faso is landlocked and they're kind of like near the Sahara Desert. This is probably the most difficult choice I've had to make. Physically speaking, they're about the same size. Who colonized this again? Was it the British? I know Cameroon right here is, I think it's French. Gabon sounds French. Was it the French? I don't know if that makes much of a difference at all. I think the French colonized both these spots. I'm gonna go with my coastline philosophy. I'll be honest. I think I have to go Gabon. And it was so close. I knew that one was gonna be a close one. I made it to 30. Mexico easily. Mexico's gonna be definitely beating out Paraguay. Mexico's just got a lot of population. I'm saying Mexico over South Africa too. South Africa's doing pretty okay as well. I'm gonna say South Africa over Colombia just geographically. They're in a really nice situation in the southern part of Africa. I'm gonna go Colombia over Mongolia. Yeah, Mongolia is not making much at all. South Sudan, one of the newest nations on Earth, coming independent back in 2011, but they can't be making that much. They're still so young. I'm going to say Mongolia is probably at 15,000, making a little bit more. Wow, okay. For a second there, they threw a weird number and it kind of freaked me out. Okay, that's definitely going to be Egypt. I mean, just the tourism dollars alone, people going to the pyramids. Okay, Aruba, little island, not going to be making much. Liechtenstein is actually very rich. It is not as rich as, I was thinking. I'm going to guess Cuba, just because Liechtenstein's so small. Liechtenstein, fun fact, Cuba's going to be beating out here. One of the fastest internets in the world, if not the fastest. South Korea, Samsung alone is probably pulling in 1.6 million for them. South Korea for sure over Iceland. French Polynesia, it's got to be Iceland. Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm going to Honduras. It is close, but French Polynesia is not that much. These are just numbers that I've never seen before. I don't know how much Bermuda could be making, but it is a nice tourist destination. I'm gonna just say that the rule of thumb for this quiz is to stay away from the islands. The islands can't be making that much, and that so far has been pretty good. Okay, this is a problem when there are 2 islands. I'm gonna say Bermuda over Marshall Islands. Thank you. Okay, that was a complete guess. Again, when you give me 2 islands, you're kind of screwing me. They're both in Oceania too. Gonna have to use my geography knowledge for this one. We're comparing here to here. Both are kind of archipelagos with multiple islands underneath them. Does the US still, like, well, they have bases in Marshall Islands, but I don't know if that's gonna affect their number too much. Physically speaking, these islands are closer to Fiji. They have their water and everything. There's also New Zealand and Australia down here. I really don't know if that's gonna make much of a difference. This number is so low that I think I have to go over here. I think, okay, I guess that worked out. Bhutan's not very big, and I don't know if they're making that much money, but they're next to India, so okay. I'm gonna pick Monaco, but I'm a little bit scared. Monaco's very rich for being a city-state in Europe. Okay, I'm glad that we got that right. It's gotta be Greece. We can use a lot of the geography knowledge that we have and population knowledge. It's gotta be Greece over Mozambique to kind of squeeze out the answers here. Going Mozambique over the tiny island of Palau. Gotta be Morocco. Again, just physically, size, close to Europe, still Morocco. Bahamas not doing too bad for some islands just off the coast of Florida. I'm gonna pick Cambodia, but okay, there we go. Austria, going with Europe. Europe is pretty easy. Once we see those continents, I think the continents help a lot. We see it's in Europe, it's probably gonna be making a pretty good amount of money. I'm going Tanzania over Micronesia, though. Oh my goodness. This is also a big tourist spot. I know everyone loves to go to these islands. They're sinking, right? I believe everyone talks about how they're sinking into the ocean because they're not very high above sea level. For me, it's gotta be over $400, right? It's gotta be over, okay, yeah, it's 4,000. They're actually doing pretty good. I'm going, wait, we did see Seychelles before. I'm gonna still go here. Very nice. And we made it to 30. Okay, as long as I made it my goal. We already know Guatemala's pulling in some money. 85,000 actually. Switzerland, easy. For being so small, Switzerland makes some bank. Easily Switzerland as well. Are we feeling 40? I'm feeling like 40 is possible unless you like really screw me over here. Uzbekistan is over Kyrgyzstan. It's in Europe, but Serbia be struggling sometimes. I'm gonna go Serbia just purely, I shouldn't have said anything. I should not have said 40. That jinxed me. Well, you're better than everyone. You're in the top 1%. I'll take that. I like that the knowledge that we've accumulated from other videos really helped out here. And big thanks to my patrons. Help, this is the real Drew. I was kidnapped and that's the imposter.
Drew's Argentinian
the slow,
grandpa.
depressing Portugal
Schengen.
Bright
follow
amateur.
$20
is a lot.
John,
Jack,
Trader, annoying
Kids
friend,
know his
love,
best girl.
fresh,
Robert,
anime,
the great Ralph,
the Polish,
I
McLean,
kidnapped Drew.
760.
His ransom is 5
Zany
fillet of
boy,
fish,
and
and
why
he's
am I
at
doing this?
308 Negro Arroyo Lane.